أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's 7:02 now and we will start our class with the starting prayer. Before we do that, I will quickly go through the etiquettes so that if anyone has not done any of these things, you can quickly do them before we start our class. So make sure that before we start our class, everyone has performed ablution and you should cover your head and you should have revised your previous lesson. Make sure that you are sitting with an adult in a quiet room. Otherwise, obviously, if it's noisy, we will have to give the mic to another student. And make sure that your audio and video is off and that you have logged in with your correct ID. During the lesson, listen attentively to the class and recite verses alongside the teacher and your fellow students. Don't raise your hands unless you are requested by the teacher. And after the lesson, make sure that you revise your previous lessons and you do your homework. Lastly, these classes are just an additional support. So they are not a replacement. So make sure that all of you recite Holy Quran daily with an adult. So now, if I can ask the ST to give me an ID for the starting prayer.
I will give you N8305.
Sorry, can you say that again?
N8305.
Okay. Jazakallah. N8305. N8305. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. We can have another student.
Okay. We can have A7301. A7301. I think is he in the class? He's not. No.
I think he's in the class, but there's a problem with the mic.
Okay. Did we try N8308?
Yeah. N8308. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you recite the starting prayer for everyone, starting with Tawuz?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي إنا لما
إني yeah.
لما أنزلت إلي من خير
فقير. Because we are taking a pause here, right? So, okay. And the English translation?
My Lord, I am in need of whatever good thou mayest send down to me.
Okay. And this one?
Rabbina taqabbal minna.
Rabbana
taqabbal minna. Innaka antas sayyul alim.
And the English translation?
I see it properly.
Okay, sorry.
Our
Yeah.
Lord, accept this from us, for you are all hearing, all knowing.
Jazakumullah. Now, can I ask the TA to give a chapter introduction? As all of you are aware, we started a new chapter yesterday,
Assalamu alaikum.
chapter 91, Surah Shams. So, yeah, the TA will now give a brief introduction to the chapter.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yeah, wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, so the brief introduction is about Surah Ash-Shams. Surah Ash-Shams is the chapter 91 of the Holy Quran, and it is situated in the 30th part. This chapter has a total of 16 verses. Ash-Shams means the sun, and it takes its title from the first word of the opening verse. In chapter 91, great stress has been laid on the development of good morals, especially those good qualities that intimately concern and affect the progress and prosperity of a community. Muslims have been exhorted to create an atmosphere and an environment which should help to raise the standing and stature of the poor, depressed and suppressed section of the community, and should enable them to take their proper share in its activities. This chapter refers to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his great moral qualities. Towards its close, this chapter points out that moral greatness can be achieved by anyone who abstains from evil and walks in the path of righteousness. The chapter ends on the note that those who refuse divine laws, those who adopt evil ways, will work out their own ruin.
Okay, Jazakumullah. So we started this chapter yesterday, and yesterday the teacher covered verses 1 to verse 8, and today we will cover verse 9 to verse 16. So first I'm going to recite these verses, and then we'll have some students to go over these verses. Okay. Can the TA tell just confirm if you can see all the verses on the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Jazakallah. And I request all the students to recite along with me. Jazakumullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فألهمها فجورها وتقواها. قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. Jazakumullah. I hope that everyone was reciting alongside. So now we are going to have a few students to recite the same verses for everyone else. Can I request the ST to give me an ID?
Okay, if we can have A7301.
Okay. Jazakallah. A7301.
Oh, I don't. Oh, just hold on a second.
Okay. A7301. Okay.
I think that is. Voice keep going to mute. I don't know.
Okay. Should I try unmuting?
Try another student.
Okay. Yeah, we can have another student.
It tries A7308.
Okay. A7308.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. A7308, can you recite the verses which I just recited from verse 9 to verse 16 for everyone?
Okay.
Start with Tabbas.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها
Okay. بطغواها
بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها
ناقة الله
ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها.
Okay. Jazakumullah. I'm going to point out a mistake which you repeated here. So I have highlighted the letter. Do you know what mistake you could possibly have made?
Is it Nun Gunna?
The rule which you forgot maybe to apply was the rule of ikhfa. So there are only 7 letters. If they are followed by a noon, the noon is obvious. So it would be man. So you have to perform izhar. Apart from those 7 letters, if there are any other letters followed by a noon sakin, you have to perform ikhfa. And this letter here, za, it's not part of those 7 letters. Does that remind you of anything? So
did I go like man's?
yeah,
Miss Noon.
no. You said man zakkaha. You have to perform ikhfa. So the 7 letters are alif, hamza, ain, ha, ghain, kha. So basically, za is not part of those 7 letters. So you have to do izhar. You have to do ikhfa. Okay, so instead of man, it would be ma. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, and you did the same mistake here. And yeah, I think I corrected the rest of the mistakes, so that's fine. Can we have one more student?
Sorry.
Yes, we can have another one. We can have N8310.
Okay.
And she's going to recite Surah Al-Alaq.
Okay. N8310. Assalamu alaikum. N8310. Okay. We should have another student.
Another student. Okay, shall we
Yeah.
try N8311?
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. N8311.
Yes.
Can you recite today's lesson and then I will listen to your hifz? Okay?
Okay.
So starting with tawuz and start from this verse.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح من زكاها
Zakkaha.
وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بتقواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها
فأقروا. This is
فأقروها فدمدم عليهم
ربهم. What happened? Okay, any 311 got muted. I'm not sure why.
Oh,
Any 311?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you got muted in the middle. Can you continue?
فقال لهم رسول
From here,
ف-
if you can start from this verse.
فكذبوه فأقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم
Bizam.
بذن
Okay, it's you can see this little tiny meme on top of noon.
yeah
It basically means that we have to pronounce meme instead of noon, because noon is followed by ba, right? This letter.
yeah
So this is just to kind of help us, remind us that the sound of noon will change into the sound of meme. So instead of, it won't be bizan, it will be bizam. Okay?
بذنبهم فسواها ولا
فسواها. 2 seconds long.
فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها.
Okay, Jazakumullah. That was all for today's lesson. So now we are going to start listening to the hifz. And I'm going to start with N8311. But before, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. I was just creating the breakout room. So N8311, you're going to recite Surah Surah Al-Ghashiyah? Yeah. Can I confirm from the ST?
sorry, which one?
N8311. Okay, that's fine. N8311? Is she muted?
Is it?
Hello.
Okay. N8311, Assalamu alaikum.
311.
I don't know Surah Al-Ghashiyah, but I know the whole of Surah Al-Ala.
Okay. All right. So I can see on the record that previously you have recited up to verse 14 of Surah Al-Ala.
Yeah.
So would you like to continue from verse 12? So previously you recited up to verse 14. Let me just go to the surah.
I know all of it.
Okay. Yeah. So previously you recited up to this verse here. Yahya. So if you can start with Allazi, which is verse 13, and recite all of the surah,
Yeah.
all the way up to the end.
Okay.
Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. الذي يصلى النار الكبرى
Yeah.
ثم لا يموت ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا.
Yeah. And at 311.
Yes.
Um.
قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى.
Yeah.
بل تؤثرون ولا حياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. إن هذا لفي الصحف تؤثرون
الصحف الأولى.
الصحف الأولى
Yeah.
صحف إبراهيم وموسى.
Jazakumullah. And at 311. So I can see that you have tried to memorize the entire surah. It could be that you only recently memorized it. So if you keep going over the surah again and again, your hifz should get better and you should be able to recite it fluently. Okay? But I'm going to point out a few mistakes in terms of the pronunciation as well.
Okay.
So, first of all, here in verse 13, if you can recite the verse 13 again for me.
الذي يصلى النار الكبرى.
Okay. So you made a few mistakes in verse 13. Let me just highlight them. So first of all, we have this letter here, Sod, which has to be pronounced differently than Seen, right? So I'm sure a lot of the teachers have mentioned this before as well. But if we change the sound, it's going to change the meaning. So we have to be very careful with the pronunciation. So instead of yasla, it will be yaslanara. Okay?
Okay.
Could you hear the difference?
Yes.
Okay. And the second mistake is here we have noon mushaddad. So this W sign here, this is if any letter carries this sign, it's called a mushaddad letter. So this one would be noon mushaddad. So we have to perform gunna for 2 seconds. Okay? Do you know what gunna means? A nasal sound. And you have to do it for 2 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
And lastly here, I have highlighted the letter. I have highlighted ba, ba sakin. It's sakin because it doesn't have any fatha, kasra, or dhamma stroke, right? It has this shape which looks like C, but the C alphabet, but the other way around. So that's just to help you remember it. But the reason why I have highlighted this is because ba is part of haruf qalqala, and for haruf qalqala, you have to do a jerking sound if they carry a sakin. Okay, so instead of kobra, kob, kobra. Did you hear the difference?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can recite this verse again.
الذي يصلى النار الكبرى.
Okay, this time it was much better. Now I'm going to point out another mistake. I think it might be because you have recently memorized the surah, or it could be because you didn't memorize it the right way. So this ha, which carries this dhamma stroke, it only needs to be prolonged for 1 second. Okay? So you prolonged it for more than 1 second, like suhufe. Okay, so it won't be like that. It would be Inna hadha lafi suhufil ula. Okay,
Okay.
1 second long. And here you said la. So that if I wasn't looking here, I would think that alif is followed by ain, which is not true, right? So instead of la, it's ula. So because alif with dhamma is followed by vav, you have to prolong it for 2 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
All right, jazakumullah. And I can see on the record that you have also recited Surah Al-Ghashiyah up to verse 16. Is that correct? And it 311?
I haven't done Surah Ghashiyah.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Can we have another student now?
Verses.
Okay, that's fine. N8311, please keep working on your chapter 87, and then you can start memorizing Surah Al-Ghashiyah. So, Jazakillah, can we have another student?
Assalamu alaikum.
Can I ask the ST? Which student? Can I ask the ST to give me an ID?
Yes, A7304.
Okay, Jazakumullah. A7304, Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, let me just write your ID quickly. Okay, yeah. So A7304,
Yes.
you have completed Surah Al-Ghashiyah and Surah Al-Ala, right? Have you started memorizing chapter 91, Surah Shams?
I think kind of half of it.
Okay. Do you have memorized half of it?
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to, can you recite it
Okay.
by heart?
Okay.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Shall I start?
Yeah, you can start with Tawbas.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والنهار إذا تجلاها
والسماء
والسماء
وما بناها
والسماء وما بناها
والأرض
إذا تحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من تزكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بدعواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها.
Okay, Jazakumullah. So you have recited the entire surah. So well done for memorizing the entire surah. Let me just go to the surah. Yeah, so in terms of memorization, it's not too bad. You were replacing some words and also getting confused between words. So if you keep going over it and if you repeatedly recite the surah and keep a copy of the surah in front of you, and then when you think that you have memorized it perfectly, then you can put the copy away and recite it off by heart to see if you have done it or not. And you can take help of adults. All of the students should take help of adults, which could be parents or older siblings. So they can tell you if you have forgotten something or if you are replacing two words. So first of all, you when it came to verse 6, instead of wasama, you were saying wannaha. So maybe you got confused between these two words. So as I said, if you keep repeatedly reciting it, these kind of mistakes would go away. After that, in verse 9, here, the word is وَتَقْوَاهَا, but you said وَتَّقْوَاهَا. So that would mean that this letter is carrying a shadda sign, the W sign, which I mentioned previously, which is not the case, right? So instead of wattaq, it would be wataqwaha. Do you understand? Is A7304 muted?
Yes, I can understand.
Okay. Jazakumullah, please reply so that I know that you're listening and you understand. Okay. And here in verse 14,
Yes.
so your pronunciation was really good and you performed a lot of rules such as qalqala really well. But here in verse 14, you performed qalqala, but the qaf sound, it wasn't thick. So you said suqyaha, which would mean that this is a different qaf, right?
Right.
It would seem like you perform qalqala on this qaf. So make sure that you perform a thick sound. So suqyaha, and you did well here. The sound was thick and you did qalqala as well. So that was really good. I think, yeah, that was about it. So can we have another student now?
Yes, we can have another student. There is a student N8346. She want to ask a question, I think. Is it okay to?
Yeah, N8, can you repeat the ID?
Yeah, N8346.
Okay, N8346.
N8346.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I just want to tell you that yesterday when I was going to join the class, it didn't work. And then I tried again and I double checked and it just didn't work. So I missed the lesson.
Okay. But it did work today, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It could be a technical problem. The class did take place, so I'm not sure why it didn't work for you.
Okay, and
But
I wanted to ask, did I miss anything like important from yesterday?
As I mentioned at the start of lesson, we started a new lesson yesterday, which was verse 1 to 9 of Surah Shams. But if you keep on joining the upcoming lessons, there will be revision lessons on Surah Shams.
Okay.
So, and if you can also go to the YouTube channel, so you don't have to worry about missing out on anything.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Yeah, that's fine. And I would also like to remind everyone that inshallah next week you are going to have your first exam. So I would like to request all the students to prepare for the test and memorize all the surahs which are covered so far. And if there are any more chapters covered next week before the test, you should also memorize those for the test. So, and 346, if I can also listen to your hifs.
I think.
And 346, is she muted?
Not really. I think she done.
And 346.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can I also listen to your hifs?
Okay.
So previously you have recited up to verse 5 of Surah Al-Ghashiyah.
Yeah.
Have you memorized any more verses from that chapter?
So I think so.
Okay, let me go to the surah and then hopefully you'll know. Okay. So previously you have recited up to verse 5, which is here. Hamiyah.
Yeah.
Have you memorized any more verses? It's on the
Yes.
screen. So, okay. Do you know how many?
No.
Okay, that's fine. If you can start reciting from verse 5, so from Tasla,
Okay.
and then continue, and we'll see how much you have memorized. Okay?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Where is it from?
Let me show you. It's from verse 5. So, Tasla, it's on the screen. Just read.
تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ذري لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ نائمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية.
Yeah.
فيها سرر مرفوعة
Okay. You missed one verse. لا تسمع.
لا تسمح فيها لاغية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا أن تولى وكفر
ما إلا ما تولى.
إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله عذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن إلينا حسابهم
إن علينا.
إن إلينا حسابهم.
Okay. Jazakallah. Let me go to the surah. So you have memorized the entire surah. You have recited all of the verses. So in terms of memorization, it was good, but I'm going to point out a few mistakes. So first of all, in the very last verse, you said Elena. So as you can see on the screen, it's Alaina, fatha stroke. I think you, I don't know if you forgot, if you have memorized it wrong from the beginning. So it would be, I think, the right time to correct this mistake before it's too hard, to change. So that was one. In verse 17, وَزَرَابِيُّ مَبْثُوثَةٌ, you said وَزَرَابِيهُ. So you can see on the screen there is no ha, it's just ya, right? So if you can recite this verse again. And 346 is and 346.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
My screen froze for a few seconds.
Okay, that's fine. Did you hear what I just said?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I'll repeat it. So you did hear this one, right? In
No.
verse 27, you replaced the fatha stroke on ain with kasra. So you said Ilaina. I corrected you on the spot. So make sure that you correct this mistake before it's too hard for you. So in verse 17, you said wazara bihu. So as you can see, there is no ha. It's just the letter ya, right?
Yeah.
So it's wazara biyu. So if you can recite this verse again.
Okay. وزرابي مبثوثة.
Okay. That is much better. Now let me go to verse 7 here. First, I think you said manzari, and as I said, I corrected you on the spot. Again, you replaced the stroke, you completely changed the stroke, which will result in changing the meaning of the word, right? And
Yeah.
we don't want that to happen. So make sure that when you revise this chapter, keep a copy of the chapter or have the Quran in front of you and look at each letter carefully as you
Okay.
revise. And then have somebody to listen to you and they should tell these kind of obvious mistakes. They should be able to tell you. And again, this isn't zari, this is zod, right? So we have to, you have to make a thick sound, and also it should be different from za, the letter za, and it should be different from the letter dal as well. So ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع. Can you recite this verse?
Okay. ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع.
I have mentioned this rule to one of the other students. This noon you have to perform ikhfa. There are only 7 letters. If noon sakin is followed by those 7 letters, you have to do izhar, which would be min. If it's not followed by those 7 letters, it would be ikhfa. So meo. Okay. So one last mistake. Make sure that when you recite very slowly, so that you are able to give each letter and each stroke its due time. So for example, here on alif, we have mad saghir. And we know that mad saghir, it has to be prolonged for at least 3 seconds. No more than that, no less than that. So if you recite slowly, you should be able to do that. Okay, so now it's time to
Jazakallah.
conclude our lesson. Okay. So before I go over the homework, again, I would like to remind all the students that inshallah, next week you're going to have your first test and first exam. So make sure that you are prepared for that test. And we have the weekend. So you have Saturday and Sunday to revise the chapters if you have already memorized them. And if you have not memorized them, then over the weekend you should try and memorize as much as possible. So far we have covered chapter 1, chapter 87, which is Surah Al-Ala, and then chapter 88, Surah Al-Ghashiyah, and then chapter 91, which is Surah Shams. So these 4 chapters will definitely be in the exam. So you should prepare for the test. And that is your homework as well. So make sure that you, as I said, memorize if you haven't memorized, and revise if you have already memorized.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I just wanted to remind the students that Surah Fatiha, Surah Ghashiyah, and Surah Al-Ala, they will be in the test.
Okay. So Surah Shams won't be.
Not be nine.
Okay. Jazakumullah.
Jazakallah.
So Surah Shams won't be on the test, and I think next week might be a revision for Surah Shams, but even if you learn a new chapter, it probably won't be on the test. So the only 3 chapters that are on the test are chapter 1, Surah Fatiha, chapter 87, and chapter 88. So that's, I guess some of you would be happy to hear that. Now, can I ask the ST
Yes.
to give me an ID for the ending prayer.
Okay. N8314.
Okay, and 8314. Assalamu alaikum. And 8314.
Shall I give you another one?
Yeah.
N8316.
And 8316.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you recite this ending prayer for everyone, starting with Tawuz?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن
Azim.
العظيم
Yeah. And
واجعله لي إماما
waj'alhu li
واجعله لي إماما موانور رحمة.
Okay. And the English translation?
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Jazakallah. So that's it for today's lesson. I would like to end the class by reminding again all the students about the next week's test. And as the TA corrected me, it's only based on chapter 1, chapter 87, and chapter 88. So 3 chapters. Make sure that all of you revise them and memorize them. So Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.